Really strong performance by your bench tonight.
Yeah, they were great. I mean, I thought all of them. I mean, Iowa played exceptionally well. So did Coby. We got really good minutes from Troy and from Tony Bradley. Even I thought Jordan Bell came in there and did a nice job, even though he was only in there for a few minutes. But yeah, those guys were really good. I think on both ends of the floor. I thought offensively we shared the ball pretty well, but our main guys didn't really have, in terms of shooting numbers or percentages, their typical nights, which is fine. That happens, but it was good to see other guys step up and be able to contribute and help.
Nobody stops Bradley Beal one-on-one, but what do you think of Iowa's minutes on him, particularly in that third quarter stretch where he made him work for everything he was getting?
I thought we had some possessions in the first half where, we just needed it to be better. I think we could have been better. I thought Iowa's minutes, on Brad, he made him really, really work. I thought our defense in the third quarter was better. There was some really, really good possessions. I think Iowa was a big part of that, even to start the fourth. I think I think he takes that on. Like, he has pride in that. He enjoys that. And listen, Brad's a hard guy to stop. You're not going to stop him from necessarily shooting or missing or making. Sometimes you're at the mercy of those players. But I thought Io really, really worked hard and did a lot of good things, really on both ends of the floor.
How much does it elevate you guys when Coby comes in and is on the way that he is scoring the ball lately?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's it's great, but the thing I think we talked about before the game was, you got to look at, how sustainable that is, and what I mean by that is, Coby is really, I think he's like playing really good basketball. I think people are looking at the fact that he's, making shots, but even besides the making shots, the downhill drives, the kick outs, the spray outs, the way he's working on defense. So what I'm saying is, when I say sustainable, he's probably, the clip he's shooting the ball at is remarkable. And certainly we all hope that continues. But I think sometimes when he's making shots, some of the other things that he's doing really well, sometimes you don't really notice. And I think with what he's tried to do on the defensive end of the floor and what he's tried to do, even facilitating and driving and getting other guys involved, he's made the game easier for others. And he's also been a really, really good creator for us. So, he's been, it's been going on for a while, and I'm happy for him, just personally, because of what he went through with his shoulder and then COVID. It's really hard for him to kind of find a rhythm and find his way. And I've always said this about him. He's got great toughness and resiliency. And, he was able to kind of stay the course, and I'm happy to see his hard work being rewarded.
Speaking of him, Coby, just to follow up on that, it seems like he's had to go through not only the injuries and the sick illness and all, but, he's a point guard, it's a shooting guard, and he's starting, he's not starting. He seems like he's had to learn so many different roles and make so many different judgments, maybe more than anybody. Have you seen that as well?
Yeah, Sam,
come through.
I totally agree with you. I think Coby is a winning player. Would be the best way to say. So he's a winning player. And what I mean by that is, you just put him out there and he'll play whatever position. But you're right. You go from being the point guard last year to now Lonzo comes in, Caruso's here, and now you're playing off the ball a little bit more. You're trying to find your way. You kind of come off the bench, providing energy. But he has a lot of great qualities, and he's had to adjust quite a bit. But I think Coby's a basketball player. Like, I think if you were to ask him, and I don't want to speak for him, but if you asked him, he just wants to play. Am I a point? Am I a two guard? Am I a scoring guard? Am I a combo? Like, you can label me any way you want. I just want to go out there and play. And he's kind of always been that way. And he's always been the kind of guy that says, okay, what can I do to help the group? That's kind of always been his mentality. What do I have to do to help the group? And he's willing to do that. So he's not really boxed himself in, in his mind as just, okay, I'm a point guard, I'm a two guard. I think he's a basketball player, and it's been great being around him with that kind of mentality.
Is that sort of benefited the play of the bench, that these guys have embraced these roles, not being bitter about, well, I'm not starting or I'm not getting enough shots, but embrace these roles and produced as a group?
Yeah, I think, Sam, that's what we talked about before the game, was the guys have all had the mentality of, what can I do to help the group? And, I've been really, really fortunate and blessed to coach, that kind of group of guys. It's all about what's best for the team. And, as you start to get a little bit, whole, and, Lonzo comes back, and like Coby played really, really good basketball as a starter. But you know what? We're going to put Lonzo back in the starting line. If you come off the bench, okay, I'll figure it out. And, how can I help? What can I do to help the group? And, I think for a lot of these guys, a lot of it comes down to the minutes that they're playing and being productive inside their minutes. And I think Coby's been really productive in his minutes as a starter, and he's been really productive with his minutes coming off the bench here the last couple of games. So I'm hoping he's gaining some confidence in terms of his value, for our team and what he can do for our team. And whatever role it is, it's an important role for us.
Your 300 career, but just kind of curious, how do you take those kind of milestones when you go?
Well, I mean, the thing that was amazing was like in college, you play like, I don't know what it is, if you're fortunate, maybe 35 games or so, right? And, it's like 3 seasons almost up here in the NBA. So, I mean, I had no idea. I don't know if that in the NBA, I don't know if that's any good or bad, or I have no idea. But, I've been fortunate to coach some really, really good players and some really, really good teams. I would just say that. I really don't know. I look at some of these other guys that I'm coaching for a long time, and you see 1,000, 1,100 wins. So it's puts it in perspective that there's been some guys in this league coaching wise that have done it for a very, very, very long time and at a very, very high level.
Billy, have you ever talked to Roy Williams about Coby?
I had not. I know, in just being around Coby, I know his time at North Carolina was really, really special to him. I think his relationship with Coach Williams is really, really special to him. I know he goes back there quite a bit. I know, Roy's come in a few times, at least last year. I think he maybe came to the Charlotte game. He's come to some other games to watch him play. But there's a real, I think, significant bond between Coby and Roy Williams and the coaching staff, and Coby in North Carolina.
The other day on a win, you talked about, even though they won, defensive slippage. Did that have anything to do with the late timeouts, or was it just to put other guys in the game?
No, I was just trying to get some guys out of the game. Holiday is a really, really good defender, and he turned us over a couple times and we were pressuring. And I just didn't love just kind of putting a whole new group out there with the way he was pressuring the ball all over the place. But it was more to just sub some guys out, to get them out of the game. Instead of taking all of them out, I tried to get DeMar and Zach out, and I kept Vooch in there just as a presence a little bit, and Lonzo for some ball handling, and then slowly tried to pull those guys out as well.
Billy, 9 straight wins. That's something that hasn't happened since the end of the 2010-11 regular season. What does that say about just how this team is playing right now and the talent level and confidence level?
I'm really, really happy for the guys, what they've been able to do. It's been a really unique year. I think this year, even more so than last year, is more unique. And what I mean by that is because there's been so many guys that have kind of gone into protocols across the league more so than maybe, last year. Even when we went into the bubble in Orlando, for the final, whatever it was, 8 or 10 games and into the playoffs, nobody tested positive. Nobody did. And, even last year with some of the restrictions and stuff, you didn't deal with necessarily the same things. This has been kind of really, really unique year. I think it's been an unprecedented year in a lot of ways. And I think not only us, but every team is dealing with it. I'm happy, with the fact that these guys hard work, they've been able to win 9 games in a row. But like, to me, it's bigger than that in terms of we have to get better. We just have to get better. I think that, and I mentioned this, when I came back for the Orlando game, I think we've got to be better defensively. I thought we did some really good things offensively tonight with our unselfishness and the way we moved and shared the basketball. I think if you spoke to those guys, they would say that we got to keep getting better defensively. We have the capability. I know we're missing Alex and we got Lonzo back, but I still think there's a lot of room for improvement and growth. And I think, you don't want to necessarily get wrapped up on, hey, you're on this win streak, but I think you want to really get more wrapped up in what do we have to do to continue to get better and move closer to the team that we really think we can be.
Coach, we do one on Zoom with Christos.
Yep.
Christos, go ahead.
Hello, Coach. Congratulations on the win.
Christo, what time is it there?
Almost 6 a.m.
Okay, you're working hard.
Thank you very much, Coach. Just like
Yes.
you.
No, I don't know. Not quite as hard as you.
Thank you. Coach, my question is about Lonzo and his presence on the floor and how beneficial it is especially for Coby White, because we saw this season huge improvement for Coby, not only about his shooting, about his ability, about the way he reads the game. How beneficial for Coby White is Lonzo's presence on the floor and in
No,
the team as well?
I think they've all, Christos, have done a really good job, with each other. The one thing that I really respect and admire about Lonzo is like, he really takes the defense very personally. He wants to get stops. He wants to really be physical and aggressive, and the defensive kind of, setting a tone defensively is very, very important to Lonzo. I think that, as Kobe's played a few years here now in the NBA. I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, there's a lot of other things he's doing besides, scoring the ball. I don't want to say that, Lonzo's been necessarily the reason because of that, but I think when you do have point guards like Coby, like Lonzo, even Alex Caruso, that the defensive end of the floor is important to them. I think they've all impacted each other pretty well. Okay. Thank you, guys.